Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Breakfast Show where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV with the stream on Facebook, YouTube and also on our website where they powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Where they bring this edition of the Breakfast Show come to you this Thursday morning. Mina Khadija Bangura.
And Mina Mabel Kaba, good morning. Today now Thursday, the 21st day of August 2025. Inside this edition of the Breakfast Show on Liberty Online TV, where they can talk to the Commissioner General for the National Revenue Authority as now they get the responsibility for ensure so they collect revenue and self accounts for the revenue them when they collect for government. Today we can look at the reforms them we under the Commissioner General, when Madam Jeneba Bangura, what they implement so far for reduce leakages in terms of revenue generation and self waiting on the happen as latest reforms them for ensure so they hit their target for 2025. Now that's what they can discuss in this edition of the Breakfast Show.
Well, this and other story them, then are the program for you. Remember, say you say for the watch we, you get question, you want for comment on anything we get for do with the National Revenue Authority as now then get the mandate for ensure say then get a revenue and most of them money we then can get and government can use for do development program them. Well, waiting on the happen in terms of the recent events them, reforms for ensure say then curtail the leakage them working day na the revenue aspect. Now that's what they can discuss this morning and at the studio we get the Commissioner General Jeneba Bangura. Good morning, Mrs. Bangura, and welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, Khadija. Good morning, Mabel. And good morning, viewers. Thank you.
All right, so let me just start for look at the Revenue Authority as a whole. It's been a while. We'll get you now. We'll give you as them update about waiting you AU team they do for ensure say una hit on a yearly target where una can set as a revenue generation corporation and waiting una don't they do for make sure say una gather all the revenue una supposed for gather and get to government for development projects them.
Good morning again, and glad for there. I think I've been come the start of the year, and that time I've been get a lot of challenges them because we've been start the year very rough. January, February, you know, the revenue been deep, but we able get a handle on what they happen, and then we able recover. And I'm glad for make family know say we end the first half of the year, when from January to June, you know, as expected, though we start the year very rough. But a lot don't they happen at the Revenue Authority. You talk about reforms, you talk about leakages, you talk about, I remember where I came here the last time, the hot topic, now the woman them, you know, the CVC issue with the containers them. So a lot don't they happen at this space. But I'm glad for make family know say we don't start the second half of the year when at July. You know, we they push along, you know, but there are a lot of reforms we will talk about later. There are other things them systems them they put in place, and also when they about the investigation where they go on, you know, the diversion way up in customs. And then with the banks, them with some of the staff, them, and then the agents, them we will only work with. So there's a lot where they up in this space. But because of the reforms, them we they put in place, and me always they say, we get for automate and we get for continue for automate, because when you automate the system, you they remove the person where they between the taxpayer and the government. So now the automation we will talk about later, but a lot don't they happen. We just make sure say. We continue for do waiting we need for do for make sure say we raise the necessary couple for government.
You describe the first half of the year as expected. We mean say wanna achieve waiting about on target wanna be set for the first half of the year. Just take me through that success story day. How will it sound like?
Yeah. So for the first half of the year, you know, the budget for 2025 is about 18.9 billion. And for the first half of the year, we meet the target about 96% of the target. And, you know, we get GST, we still with a struggle with, and many of the reforms that we don't put in place. And for make sure, say, we bring out the GST. Other countries, them, when they bluff, say, GST, now the biggest handle tax handle. And the reason why GST important, because not to the business person in copper. Now me and you, where they go buy or sell, now we money. And that money where they pull the copper, where they pull come up pan the business, pan the what's in the call what they do. Now they're supposed to pass over to government. So GST they struggle a little bit. Income tax did very well, you know, as we always know. And then we make sure say we get the mining sector. We also they do well. The mining, not to the mining royalty as we know it, but they license them. They do very well. And then the customs, we get petroleum. They do also very well. The import duty, they struggle a bit because of so many other factors, including the exchange rate. Because when we begin the year, we've been project say the exchange rate going to go up because that has been the history and the practice. Exchange rate they go up every year or every time, but the exchange rate don't kind of stable a little bit where they affect the imports where they come in. But overall, you know, we do well, and then we will continue for push. Of course, this is not the raining season, so we don't begin a little bit slow. But with the hope say, you know, by the end of the year, we're definitely going to meet with target.
No matter how slow it be, for so many people, the GST now one way supposed for the generates plenty of revenue because no matter how the situation tell people must buy every day, and you say there is a big challenge collecting from that angle there. Also the challenge they come, is it the business people not agree for give the receipts for let it show say they don't cut government tax, or the customers them when a citizens where they're gonna then different place here, not they really ensure say the business people not cheat government.
So the GST, we all know say we've been get this paper. Receipt will be the give for GST, or where the business people they be the give we, and we don't automate the GST I think for 5 years now, but we still they struggle. And we still make with a struggle because of compliance on the part of the business people them, and compliance on the part of we said bam when are taxpayers them, because I always they say, and me I get that practice there, anytime I buy or sell I they ask for me GST. And now that's now the reason why we struggle, because the compliance level is so low. Why is low? Because the businesses they know they give receipts. Because when you not give receipts, it means say most likely you not register the GST where the customer pay. And you customer where you not ask for your GST receipts, you don't give the business person the allowance, and then you don't give them the opportunity for make it cheat the government. So, but we don't put measures in place. Currently, we're not being get enough machines, but the Ministry of Finance, I don't see them fit for give additional machines. Then we are in a negotiation for get 5,000 additional machines then, because we get businesses them, we don't register since the last time we will get the machines them. We're not getting machines them. So we don't get additional machines them, and then we also don't get another player in the market where don't bring about 150 new devices them, where would they use solely for the building material sector. So with a hope say with all the measures that we don't take, and then enforcement, and then put other incentives them in place for just make sure say we encourage you, me, and other people them where they buy and sell, for make sure say they ask for them receipts or give them receipts.
We talk about a very important aspect, we don't be a bottleneck for your work na NRA, the issues of leakages, siphons of revenue diverter into their own personal accounts. This now one we've been very alarming quite recently, and even before now the issues there don't they come. What in and what you don't put in place as reforms for ensure so you stop that the way they happen in NRA and government they lost couple.
Yeah. So I'm glad the way you mentioned, you know, the diversion where they happen in this typhoon them, it not just begin this year, it not begin last year. I mean, this is not an age-old problem, and not to only, in all particular to we na saloon. This is not an issue any side where you get couple, whether not the revenue authority or whether not the bank, so any side where money they pass hand, you they get anything in there. But the way we get for make sure say we control them, because me I can tell people then say, you know, corruption or diversion like water, where you stop them this way, they find other way for pass. So, but you get for continue for be vigilant. You get for continue for make sure say the things that more you they put in place, not to just one activity, but many other activities and systems them. This year, as you mentioned, you know, NIA will be there in the news of what's happen, and we dey work with ACC. We get the staff where ACC don't put press release for, but waiting we don't they do over time, and we will continue for do over time. I mean, we'll continue for do as time they go on. Now they reforms them. For DTD, waiting we don't do, we don't implement the ITAS. And our Glady, where I will talk about that later, we been get a program where IMF can look at we systems them. And then the ITAS, where we don't put in place, then give we thumbs up, then give we grade A, because currently all tax filing for the domestic tax department, we do them electronically. We know they accept manual filing anymore. So that's one good thing. They file through the system and then pay through the system. Now one way down there for make sure say we control the leakages them where you mentioned. For customs, we get a system when Asikuda, and I can tell people then say, not so the system get the problem. Now we the Motamandem where they use the system, now we get the problem. Because if the system gets standard or operating, if we get a system where get a way how for use the system, and if you not use the system the way we're supposed to use them, now they cause the problem. So with what's happening at customs, the way the year begin, we realize say money they divert. And would I be involved? We get staff them, we involve, we get banks them, we involve, and we get agents them, we involve. So what we do we investigation, we realize the amount of money we don't divert, and then we put measures in place for make sure say the reconciliation will be they do once a month. Now we do them on a daily basis. Because we get this tripartite reconciliation, what they do with the Bank of Sierra Leone and then also with the Accountant General's office. That will be they do once a month. So when they do them once a month anymore, they do them on a daily basis for make sure say the money where they go into the account is accounted and verified before the process they continue. So we they work with the agents them and then with the banks them for make sure say we recover the monies them we don't identify.
The money they own to identify, and the recent will be upon some sort of investigation be gone in as much as we see ACC don't pull a release on that, but based on the investigation where they gone, the public go on for no who side this investigation did so far, and the staff they will be involved waiting at the status.
Okay, so the investigation, so there are two investigations going on. ACC they do their own, and then we at the NRA they do administrative investigation. So the investigation don't almost conclude on our own side, but before even the investigation conclude, we been terminate one staff where in name they play in the system. It's like say, as much as not syndicate, but not ain't the focal person. And the reason why me don't believe now saying I'm not the focal person, because it don't go away. You know, when this thing here begin, CID was involved, CID column for questioning, it gone away. And since it don't gone away, you know, they not report back at the job, so we don't fire them. And then clearly, I now believe say Naina been a ringleader because the press release where ACC publish it lists all the properties them where he gets. This guy don't deal with the NRA for 5 years. You know, I manage get all the property then they with the salary way they make. So clearly Naina the ringleader. But if it don't be good and great if ACC able to bring and come back, so we able to interview him. Make it point a finger by other people then, because clearly he knows would I be the work with. But now in the ringleader, we don't fire him, and then the investigation what would they do internally? It is my hope that it will able leads to other people them we be the work with within the institution and then outside of the institution as well.
So it clearly shows say not so one person is syndicate, and if the ringleader don't run away, Madam Bangura, how you sure say the one that we left behind no go cause havoc we might pass waiting this one they don't cause so?
Well, clearly the reason why I believe say, I mean, if the ringleader don't, Abuna been the ringleader, and as I say, it work as a syndicate, not only within the institution, but then also within the banks, and then as I say, some of the agents them where they doing that. Me believe say, waiting they be they do the syndicate or the diversion way be they happen. Me no say I don't stop them because I don't put measures in place, and I no say. The other people them way be they work with, sometimes still inside the institution, or still in at the banks them, or still they don't have customs, not go able to do what in branch do because we don't put measures in place for make sure that they not go happen. But for me, the best case scenario for the people of this country, for the government of this country, is for make sure say Abu come back so they go able to interview, make a point finger.
some of the things them way owner and the other body that were involved in this investigation. Now una no know say Abu Day, una no get any trace to Abu. How una go ensure say una bring and come back like and face justice?
Well, me not going to bring Abu back because it's out of my hands. Now it's in the hands of the authorities them, and I know say they are very competent. You know, the ACC for able bring and come back, the CID for able Fenam. I mean, we get this international relationship with Interpol. So therefore able Fenam and bring and come back. Me and not get the systems in place for do that. But me know say the other competent institutions then for able to do that, then gets the relationship with the international bodies them. So they're able to do that and bring and come back.
In terms of support, the NRA, they support the ACC as well because now ona be employ the staff, perhaps before now they employ them, it been go through interview stages, background check or anything of the sorts, where information where they go need. The NRA, they work with the ACC?
We NRA, they cooperate very much with ACC. Every information where ACC want, we don't give them, including me, self being. ACC interview me, I think, for 3 hours. So just make sure say we cooperate with them. So since this investigation don't begin, NRA is open to ACC. Any information we didn't want, we don't give them. So it's just a matter of now then deciding, you know, how to move forward with the case. But we don't cooperate with them, and we continue to cooperate with them.
You talk about reforms them, where you say you don't put. How sure you be say then reforms there go stop all of the issues that we don't happen now, like I stated earlier, even before you come as the CG, issues them of siphoning, diverting funds, don't they happen? With then reforms there with your experience where you get, how you sure say you go block all of the leakages them na NRA?
So I mentioned say where you put systems in place, now people them, they operate those systems. And if you not get credible people where they operate the system, the same problem where you've been getting in the manual, you go get them in the automated system. But I mean, say, when they build the culture of making sure, say, people are accountable for waiting they're supposed to do. You put the systems in place, you capacitate the right people, and you make sure, say, they are credible and then get integrity. Because the space who say with the work revenue generation, you get forget integrity. If you not get integrity, you go be the smartest person. But if you not get integrity, things not go work. But the systems and way we don't they put in place, and we will continue for put in place, and the right people capacitated and educating the public. Because what's be they happen with this diversion way we they talk about? Me na importer, I pay for me container. Somebody go na bank and bring the receipt, come for me. Myself get the onus for make sure say that money where I don't pay to government, reach government. We don't uncover instances who say an importer write check. The check not clear. Me not go write check. The check not clear, and I don't know if the check not clear. So this responsibility not for only rest with we waiting at the revenue authority. It also get for rest with the citizens them where they use the system. Because the money where they come off from you, supposed to go to the government for take care of you as well. Because the tax where they pay, now the government they use for make wood. They provide hospital facilities for you and your family. So the onus also there on we as taxpayers for make sure say the money where they pay to government reach the government. But the systems and what we don't put in place, we go ensure say they work. We will ensure say we continue for update them. We will continue for make sure say we put the right controls in place for monitor the system. Because you put the system in place, you also need to put controls in place for make sure say the systems and they work. And they work.
I continue for ask you about any reforms there because this issue they discuss so not so today begin and you predecessor themselves go don't put systems in place but then continue for beat them system there because this is a long-term problem we don't do na NRA and the more you carry with new system the more the syndicate self go they sit down engage for find way how then they beat them system there and at the end of the day the money then they go just like what you say Abu joined on 5 years we look at him property then now he's rich and the government they lost money.
So with it, again, make I come back to the reforms then. The reforms are what they put in place prior to now, and you're right, the reason we don't put reforms and we they continue for put reforms in place, but then one them we want for beat the system, they are ahead and they still they beat the system. But the difference between the reforms and we don't they plan happen and waiting what they do now is where you put systems in place and the systems then stand alone is as good as the manual system. But if you get the systems and they talk to themselves and they are integrated, it will make things a little bit easier. So like the situation where I just explained, where we uncover in January, it starts with a taxpayer, we go pay na customs. It go pay in import GST na customs. We get a system na customs and we get another system na domestic tax department. Because we integrate them two systems in there, they talk to themselves. Whether importer they pay na customs, it realize in GST not translate or not report na the DTD. So because the systems are integrated, we were able to uncover that syndicates the way happen. So for me, putting systems in place, making sure certain systems that they talk to themselves will make things easier. So we'll continue for make sure say the systems and what they put in place, that they integrate not only within the NRA, but also outside of NRA. Like for example, go make sure say with systems that they integrate with the banks. Because we get some taxpayers them currently, because they pay na the Bank of Sierra Leone, when they pay, it's very difficult for make we know when they pay and how they pay. But if we get with systems that they talk to the systems and at the Bank of Sierra Leone, it will make it easier for us. We also get a relationship with the Accountant General's office, the IFMIS system with the Accountant General's office they use. We go make sure say we system and we they work for make sure say we systems and integrate with them systems as well. So once we get all the systems and where they collect revenue, now the country, they talk to themselves, it go minimize, it not go eliminate. Because just like when you say, then one them way involved in syndicates, then job now for make sure say, then dupe the government. So they are ahead of us. But we self get for make sure say we stay on top of them. Like I said, corruption or diversion like water, where you block Naya, it defend other way for come. But you just get for make sure say we stay on top of them. And that's what we have been doing. And we'll continue to do.
Systems here they work for the public and our people from different parts of the country, they access the system them. How friendly them be for let somebody in the public, they access the system and able for detect say there has been a diversion or there has been a problem enough for further put in money.
Not all the systems then get problem. You know, the systems are very friendly. The systems are they put the systems in together for make sure say the money where they pay reach the government. So not to the system. So the person not able to
detect whether or not pass owner able for no say there has been a problem.
No, the person go able. If me a taxpayer, I file me tax. Yeah, I file me tax and I make the payment. Where I make the payment, if the payment go through, they deduct them from your account. So you go not say the transaction don't go through. But you as a taxpayer, you're not go able to know what's not happen on the other side. Now we on the inside, therefore no say the money where you don't pay don't reach. Because you they just see one side of the transaction waiting come on your account. But we now we get for be vigilant, and how we get for be vigilant, we are vigilant through daily reconciliation. Make sure say the money we don't come on your account also don't reach now the government account. Mind you, where we pay where taxpayer they pay the money, they go na the transit bank because a two-step process. Come on your own account, go na the transit bank, and then at the end of the day, the banks them, the transit banks, they transfer the money, go na the central bank, na the Bank of Sierra Leone. So now we get for now make sure say that reconciliation what they do on a daily basis, go make sure say the money reach na the account. But again, the systems are working perfectly. Now where they work or they try to bypass the system, now we get the problem, and we go continue for stay on top of them.
Mrs. Bangura, let me talk now about on a yearly targets. NRA don't they miss yearly targets. What are some of the reasons them where they make NRA they miss their targets, and what are your plans for fix some of them problems there so we can hold on and for hit on targets them yearly?
So we revenue mobilization at this country, we get the potential, for not only meet the targets, but we surpass the targets. Last year, 2024, I think we missed the target by less than 1%, but we could have done more, because the potential there, especially when now we dey talk about diversion, so if all of what's been divert been coming, we go surpass with target. So last year we missed the target by less than 1%. And this year, me get the confidence say we get for surpass with targets because of the leakages them where we don't identify, where we dey block, and we go continue for block. But I want to come back to GST, because GST, as we can talk now the tax world, that consumption, which you they get, that they would get with GST from. So for me, if we're able to focus on the GST and then also focus on the extractive industry, I don't talk about this. We get natural resources. We get mining companies. Them. We just get to make sure say them pay the fair share of the tax system. We don't put measures in place for make sure say we don't give, we're not they give away as much as we give away right now. A lot of the contracts them what they sign, we really not they get much. We they get the license fees and what they pay, but where it really come to the royalties and other things, income tax and other things, then we they give almost everything away. But we don't put measures in place for make sure say going forward the contracts and what they sign, at least the income tax side we able to protect it and so we go able to get some money. But there are so many other ways that we go able to get money. But the mining sector, we need to really focus on that and see how we go able to get more money. And then, I think late last year or early this year, we worked with BAN. BAN did a project. We then did a publication on duty waiver. Duty waiver, we almost give almost everything away as well. So we work for control that as well. Giving the duty waiver not a problem, right? Because if you want to encourage a business person for Kana, you can't do business, you therefore make the environment friendly. But then again, make sure say where you give the waiver or the concession, may they not abuse them. So they put measures in place for also control that, monitor and control that as well. So make sure say, people they not abuse the system as they're doing now.
I know say not to NIA they make the laws them, some of the laws them, but business people don't they complain, especially say una they overtax them, especially business people who they into importing of goods. Where then goods then reach wataki, the last way you can address concern them of people who stage a protest and you try for address them. What you go say to business people who still believe say NIA they overtax them?
So I just want to make them clear to the business people and say not to NIA, they overtax. Last year, NIA, this year, 2025, will not get new tax. Waiting, I believe the business people then they complain about now the other fees them. For example, if you look at waiting they happen in Abuluri, not to NIA they make that, not to NIA the Abuluri fee, now the shipping and handling fee. If you see waiting they happen in ITS, not to NIA, now government outfit, but government partnership, but not to NRA. If you see what's in the happen at CTN, not to NRA. So we at the NRA, we taxes them fixed. If not import GST, we not change GST na 15% for the last how many years since we implement them. So it will not change them. Other countries are not 18%, but we're not 15%. So all the other fees them, taxes and where would they charge, we not change them. So maybe what's in the business people that they talk about now the key. Now, other fees them, we're not to NRA they collect. And then also the business importers then therefore be mindful of the agents them, where they use. Many a times, now we NRA they regulate the agents them. And every time we get a new set of agents then what would they work with, we they publish the names of the certified, NRA certified agents them. But a lot of the agents them are, not a lot of them, agents them, we get some agents them where they don't under, we dubious, where they cause a lot of havoc for importers them. So me always they advise importers them, where you they get an agent for work for you, make sure say you scrutinize them. Make sure say an agent will get credibility. Make sure say an agent will go make sure say where they protect you as a business person. Because then the agent in livelihood, now you they provide the livelihood for the agent. So if the agent they pull business for you, that means say you know one for better himself. So a lot of the times when they say NRA is just one institution within our Taki. But anything with something happen in NRA, granted we are the government officials them, we they don't under. But if the taxes, we not increase new taxes and we have not increased any new taxes at the port for a very long time. But now all of the other fees them, where they come together, I guess where they create a burden for the agent, for the importers, and which we at the NRA, we not get control over. We go work as a team, we are stakeholder, but not so we get sole and hold control over within the app in Doyana when it comes to fees them.
Issue of revenue generation, let me just link them a little to your recent appointment na the United Nations on a committee we get for do with tax matter, and you find yourself na this environment we get for do with tax again as Salone. Firstly, congratulations once more on that appointment today, but let me look at how you plan for use your office for ensure say United Nations not just did they as a position, but use that office there for improve on tax collection na Salone, because you go for the day till 2029.
So thank you for that. I'm really glad, excited for the appointment. It's a big honor for represent Salone, and I want to say a big thank you, especially to me Minister of Finance, because he recommend me, and then of course the Minister of Foreign Affairs, now then do the pushing, the lobbying, and then all of that with the team in New York. It's exciting. First of all, the committee, 25 of we come around the world, and 6 of we from Africa, and luckily for the ECOWAS region, now it's 3, I believe, 1 from Liberia, myself, and then Nigeria. And then within the committee, they do, the committee, they look at various issues them where the world they bring come to the United Nations where it comes to tax matters, especially developing countries like Sierra Leone. We all know say the world don't they move very fast when it comes to digitalization. We don't agree about, and a lot of us they use services like Netflix, we they use Starlink, we they use so many other systems them, some of we they buy things them on Amazon, where Amazon does they in other country, but we they buy and it come to we. Netflix they in other country, but they provide the services then and we they pay. So what in the developing countries say, we get all them institutions and companies them where they provide services then to we, but they're not they we say we they. But then we they pay tax. So who side that money they forgo? All that tax forgo, who side the company they, or some of that money they for left. Who say they provide the services. So the world, don't they complain to the United Nations, say, we get companies then where they make boku money, but we know they benefit from, but now we they use the service. And we get other complaints then where they go to the UN. So within the UN do, and the committee now every 4 years. So then they bring people them together, they bring citizens them together of the world for look at these issues and come up with recommendations. Like for example, if Starlink, they provide service now, then Starlink for pay some tax now, would need for benefit. If DSTV, then Nigeria, they provide service now, all of that money not for go na Nigeria, some of it for left now, because now the service day. So we they look at that and then see how we go put systems in place for benefit, not only the bigger nations, but then also for us, for we the small nations then. We also get for look at extractive industry. A lot of African countries them or other countries them get natural resources. But how really are we benefiting from those natural resources? When you look at what's in the happen in Congo, Congo gets a lot of, DRC gets a lot of natural resources. A lot of the cell phones they use, that they what's in they call they come out. But if you look at what's in they come out, the pictures the way they come out from that country, it's not good for tell. So within this committee they do, they come together for 4 years, look at issues, come up with recommendations for make sure say, especially the developing countries, particularly Africa, for make sure say we self able benefit from within the other world and countries and don't benefit when it comes to digitalization, when it comes to other reforms and where they happen in the tax. So are they not, I go make sure say Salone, the issues them, the concerns them we will get, which very similar to waiting they happen now the ECOWAS country, waiting they happen now the continent of Africa, and waiting they happen now other countries them with similar to waiting we they go through will be on the forefront, and then we will discuss them. So it's an exciting time for me. I've been in New York last week with my team. We get this tax cooperation. We start again issues. Africa we get a tax group we say we all come and put the African issues together and then just present them to the world and make sure say we self gets a voice. And it's an opportunity for we, because 30 years ago, Africa was never at the table. You know, these things, they used to, they make policies and where they affect we, but we not been there part of that decision making. But these are exciting times for Africa and for we, and particularly for Salon. So I'm very honored for being on the committee.
You talk about one very important thing we might draw a lot of people their attention na the area of digitalization. The world they evolve. Everybody they go digital now. With then kind high expectation there from you always just don't define. So how which you get for do. Let me bring can to Salon level. NRA they try for transition for go digital. How you going to ensure say you enforce on this? Maybe, just maybe, if we not go fully digital, we might not happen one time. All of the issues there, when they go through, so na NRA might come to an end.
So if we go, that is the future of NRA for go fully digital. But for make that they happen, a lot of other things them get for force happen at the country. One, na electricity. Two, connectivity. Because right now NRA will suffer greatly for consistent and reliable connectivity. And the reason why to make I say we suffer, I can read na social media, you know, at the end of we get different filing period. So like for GST at the 15th of the month, and then the income tax, you know, depending on which income tax you pay at the end of the month. So of course taxpayers then get a bad habit. We start and go wait till last minute. Now today na the due date. So all man want for camp file and make sure say they not get penalty. But when you wait last minute, the system they clog because of the internet. And where the system clog, you're not able to file and we define you. So if we get a reliable system, a reliable connectivity, which for we in NRA, we get multiple service providers. So we will get redundancy. If this one not work today or this one slow, the other one they pick up. But in order for make we go full digital, when are the goal of the NRA, the infrastructure also need for the somebody, a taxpayer need for the Kenima and not struggle for filing taxes because then get reliable connectivity and because then get reliable electricity. So in order for us to go full digital, because when we go full digital, they control diversion. But for that to happen, we NRA would do we part. But the government also need for do their own part for make sure say they provide them systems and they make sure say electricity they make sure say we get reliable connectivity, although we try for get redundancy. Like for example, we get Gendema. We get a very important crossing point where they between Liberia and we. We're not able roll out with system because we not get reliable connectivity and electricity. We not get bank day. I don't negotiate with the banks them for good day because right now we still they do on the manual way, collect the money, can't go na bow. It's very risky. Yeah. I don't talk to the banks them for make we get a mobile bank day. Like we get banks them na Balamoya. We able to convince the banks them. It's a big crossing point. Forget the banks them. So for go fully digital, we get for also get the right infrastructure, which we also they work on. Right now we they provide that. Like for example, if lights not there, we get with generators them where they run 24 hours. We they try for see how we go able to get a solar for just control cost on that side. But going fully digital is the way of the future. Other countries are not they do them, like Kenya don't do them. Accra, Ghana don't do them, other people they do them. We save the head towards that, but we need to get the right infrastructure to get that going.
Right infrastructure, then the one big challenge about tax business, most people go tell you say they're not a willingly one for pay tax because at the end of the day, the one that set for protect your money for let reach, also for reach issues on the day. And since the recent indictments will happen, corrupt practice of NRA staff them, now one concern to the public. How for trust this NRA now, where they want let me pay tax, but at the end of the day, me tax not they even go to government, also is supposed for go. How you go address then kind issue for people who don't think so for this, especially this latest corrupt practice we on a kitchen workman empire.
I want to give the taxpayer them assurance that well, taxpayers entrust the revenue institution, because now the body and the way the government don't appoint for collect. We get a few bad apples, them one or two, but I just want to give them the assurance, say the systems and what they put in place, the culture where we they reintroduce, the culture of integrity, the culture of accountability, the culture for make sure say when they don't give you responsibility for do what you're supposed to do, you do them. All of that will they reintroduce them. It will take time for make it whole water, but we just want to give taxpayer and the assurance say, then for continue for trust the revenue institution, because now the body down the way government don't give responsibility for collect revenue, and with the account for them revenue. Now the bad apple them what they try for weed out of the system that they're responsible for what's in they happen.
Tax education, a big challenge, because you didn't a country where most people not even aware, say, if you go buy anything in a shop, now your responsibility for demand, say, I need for get me GST receipt. And a lot of people only get encounter or this perception, say, most of the shops them, especially foreign owned shops them, they break the tax rule, especially for issue out tax receipts, and most of them okay even use the cash register where NRA don't go put na various shops them. How you go ensure so you put a proper monitoring system in place, or maybe una use a proper robust tax education campaign?
So with the taxpayer education, I think for the last several years now we don't get better at but not to a destination. I mean, not to a one-time thing. Even me, we see they do right now the taxpayer education, and we don't make taxpayer education a priority, and not only in Afriton but the entire country. For make sure say the information we with the give in Afriton is consistent to waiting with the give upline, because we outstations them. Taxpayer education is very important. We get a great team where on they work for make sure say the presence of NRA is felt. We get different media handles and what they deal with, but then we also get the traditional, because just like what they say, not to all taxpayers they on social media. So we still they use the traditional, whether on a radio, whether on a TV, whether on even face to face, whether on interaction with the stakeholders them. I think last month I meet with the councillor core for just make sure, because they are also very important stakeholders and where they educate. So taxpayer education is ongoing, it's continuous. We do them in various forms, but we know they relax. With the GST, we don't talk about this, and we find a way for see how we go implement them for give incentives. We don't begin with the raffle and other things them, but we're not able to do them the right way. You get the cell companies them where they do a great job at doing raffling. They give prizes them way very attractive. So that's one way we decide for see how we go able to give an incentive, give a reason to a taxpayer or a business person why they for give them GST or why we for collect GST receipts. We get example of other countries them whereby they give an incentive where you pay your GST or where you collect your GST, they get 10% of what you they pay. The government they give you a 10% of what you they pay. So when they look at all different measures and ways them for give an incentive, for give a reason why people them for ask for them GST, or why business people them for give them GST. So they look at different ways then for continue for just educate the public.
I believe say not to the first thing this you could already say some certain foreign owned businesses them no they agree for issue out GST receipts, especially now the provincial area them. What the NRA they do about that?
Enforcement, monitoring. For the provincial, if Nabo, Kenima or Makeni, just make sure say we monitor and enforce and we define. Anytime where they not give me GST receipt, I they give that receipt they would then give their own receipt would then give, I they give to the authorities them and we define them. We they continue for fine. But as you say, the incentive, because if they not give 5 receipts Anytime when they not give receipt, they make more money. So when you find them one time, they don't make the money already. So me really finding is not the right way. I want to make them stop. You know, me no want find you. I make you stop for do what they do. So now monitoring and just making sure that we penalize them for what they do, and we'll continue for monitor.
The reforms them, how the reforms then they address the issue we get for do with them middleman them working day na customs.
Give an example of a middleman, because an agent could be a middleman.
Agents,
and then but they're legal, you know. So with the reform, with the agents them, first of all, as I said earlier, with the agents them now NIA they regulate them, and within we don't do. First of all, there are too many of them. Yeah, there are too many of the agents. They may not believe say we need about 150 agents them for do the work doing under. We just need to make sure say we get the right sizable number and make sure say they all collaborate. So within the reforms they do, like especially for the Asikuda world than if they use the system the way they're supposed to use the system, we're able to regulate them a little bit better. One, if there's an infraction, if any agent cause problem, we're supposed to make sure say we put a detail of what they don't do. With the event that when the time come for renew their license, we will make the determination whether for blacklist them or renew their license them. We know they do that effectively right now. I will be very honest with you. But if we use the system right for monitor them, for make sure say anything we didn't do wrong. If they do something right, we give them credit. If they do something wrong, we also punish them by making sure that we keep track of all the wrongs and what they do. So at the end of the year, we will renew their license them. We will determine whether we for renew or not for renew.
The reason why I asked, the last time when you come, even the message and what we go through, so many business people we still find it challenging for understand how it work down customs. Then they come in contact with different people, and any of them agents when they come in contact with, money they pass. Money they pass, information safe they pass. How it work?
Yeah. So for me, if me a business person, I would really invest. And with how the system they work in customs is not difficult, it's not challenging. Now the people them where they work in they make them challenging. If me a business person, I go invest a little bit of time and money for learn how the business they work doing under, and for make sure say I get a credible agent. We get a lot of credible agents in doing under. Now the few bad apples them, just like with the NRA staff. Now the few bad apples them that they make them very difficult for the business people them. I will give you an example of an investigation where we do. The business person bring the container come. He rely on an agent where they eat in money at every turn, every interaction where he gets with them. The agent, don't suspend by the way, not in the system anymore. But every opportunity where he gets for pull money come on at the importer in hand, he pull, and the importer the give. So where he can't complain, I say if I don't just simply go to our customs person, officer, and ask for direction. The customs officer not going to do the work for you, but they're going to guide you better. But you continue for go to the same agent every time where you go, it says customs say they want more money, give, and you they give. So they self get the responsibility for be critical and for make sure say you get the right agent. Where you find one good agent, work with that agent today. Not going to change agents them because you feel say this person here, you vex them, you know like them. So then self therefore take that responsibility for make sure say they vet the people them where they work with. But the system done at customs, I not feel say on a wataki. I don't feel say it complicated. Now the people the way they work there, they make them complicated. And you know say the businessman, you not get time. But you need for make time for invest a little bit into making sure say you get the right agent. And if you have any questions, no wait where it don't go bad, then you come to NRA say it don't go bad. Before even if they go bad, once you don't smell say it they go bad, you for cancel we so we will guide you.
Lots of cities in them they struggle now with prices where they increase. Where you talk to the business people, then they say na NIA. Where they pay plenty tax them now at a key. Container don't come out from 100 million Oblands pay. Now they pay over 250 million. That's not the normal thing where they out there and the business people. But earlier I just make mention say on a tax them don't remain constant, no increase no happen. So outside this information can come on now where the business people them every now and then. Right now if you go to the streets of Freetown, do Vox Pop. 70% of the business people will tell you, say, NRA don't increase tax them.
So, of course, the business people, them, if not all, majority of them, they use NRA and the government as a scapegoat. They not go tell the public, say, where I be they go Dubai or where I be they go China for buy this bottle. Now, this amount I be they pay a year ago, but now it don't go up. They're not going to say that. They go just say, na NRA, they include, na NRA, the tax we. The world all over, prices, they don't go up. I mean, we they see on social media, or not even social media, where you travel, go international, what you be they buy in those days for this, now is that. So prices them don't go up all over. Even the shipment for Komo, you bland Komo for Cam, they don't go up. So all of that, they go into the price where they charge you, not only the tax. The tax at the end, it come at the end where you don't kind of wataki, or not only the tax and the other fees them at the end. But even where they go buy, who said they buy, it don't go up. For ship, the container where they pay for shipping things them, it don't go up. So a lot of other things that don't go up. So not only the taxes, and the taxes not go up. So then go say na NRA, but not to NRA no more. A lot, that the world don't change. That the world don't change. So we just make sure say we change with the world, but not to NRA. We not no new taxes. 2025 will not increase taxes, and I not see in the future of 2026 the government they increase taxes, but the taxpayers them and the business people them they always they use NRA as a scapegoat.
So for example, if me go now for go buy in a shop, and meet the price don't go up, the business person tell me say na NRA don't increase then tax, then our tax you so declare. I get right for challenge and say NRA say Mrs. Bangura say
Bangura say we not no new taxes, not to NRA. Now the waiting they happen at the global economy. You know, tell and say, me say, what's I go buy, what's it go buy, and no say we don't go up, we don't go up. The fees them way they pay, it don't go, everything don't go up. Not to NRA no more.
Let me talk about the WhatsApp 2025. What are some of the expectations them and how this go benefit Sierra Leone tax administration?
I almost forget about WhatsApp. So WhatsApp na the West African Tax Administration Forum. So we get different tax forums them, both regional and then continental. Continental, we get the ATAF, we know the African tax. But WhatsApp, we own ECOWAS, we get the West African. And I'm very much excited for make family no say. Now they host the 7th high-level meeting and then the 25 General Assembly in September. You know, I excite not only because they host them, but because they can showcase with country. You know, many a times now we they travel go. You know, but at the first time then they come. You know, so we get for showcase with country, we get for showcase with culture. You know, so they plan for that one day we don't want to eat salon food. You know, so they look forward to that. But the benefit to the National Revenue Authority is that you know we talk about reforms, we talk about collaboration. We talk about how the world, they now force make we focus on domestic revenue mobilization. Last month, the entire world gonna Seville, Spain. We side the UN once again called leaders them, and the vice president Naimbi lead the delegation for Gona Seville. And the theme that came out of Seville is then they force we all for make we look inward. Now for that wedding diversion that they happen, some of it pain we. Because the world they expect we for make we rely on we self. We don't see what's in the happen at the world stage. We say governments and they say, we're not can't we anymore. We not depend on ourselves. When the new president come to America, a lot of the support them we will plan to get. They don't cut them. Why? Because they want for make we look inward. So waiting what have they begin come, the theme of the conference now for make we focus inward. Not only Sierra Leone, but ECOWAS country, how we will come together for support one another. Earlier where I talk about the UN Tax Committee, I talk about cross-border services and where they happen. We say Nigeria, they provide DSTV Naya, but the money where they pay in Nigeria they go, but some of that money they for left Naya. Vice versa, continental. So the WhatsApp they come September 15th to the 19th, and we expect about 200 participants. Them 100 from within, and then 100 from outside. So it's going to be exciting. That we host them na the conference the auditorium, the foreign affairs, and it's going to be an exciting 1 week for Sierra Leone. It's going to be exciting for the Revenue Authority, and then it's also going to be exciting for other revenue generating institutions in the country, not only NRA, because we invite everybody. UNICEF, you guys are invited. I don't know if I don't get an invitation letter, but the media is invited, civil society invited. So it's going to be a big thing for we all. And then we will also use that opportunity learn from how other people are doing what they're doing so well. We come to digitalization, we come to reforms, we come to making sure that we look inward for raised revenue, because we have to depend on ourselves. The world don't say depend on oneself now for make sure say when I generate the right revenue, the right amount for support on ourselves.
Just like how you say for look inward and let governments have up and domestic revenue. For let that happen, you get role for play, great role for play. Government don't they say they don't have up too much foreign donor support for implement some of them projects and programs them. Then depend on UNANA NRA for generate revenue. And you say this year, with all which you don't put in place with your team, una go hit on a target. What are your plans for intensify this revenue generation for government?
So the plans them where we get now for make sure say we broaden the tax base. I know say taxpayers and business people them don't they complain say now we no more na the council, now we no more. So in order for make we able continue for ABOP, government ABOP, make we look inward, we dey broaden the tax base for make sure say everybody pay their fair share.
Everybody, including the mining companies.
The mining companies them especially. Yeah. Big companies especially. Because me and waiting I don't see the happen at the world stage. Waiting make the small business woman where they sell cookery for pay tax if the big companies they know they pay. So the mining companies them more. Anybody where they make money for pay them fair share. We don't want kill business, but we also want for make sure say everybody pay them fair share. So waiting what they do with the board in the tax base. We don't begin that already. We get containers them. If you go Jue, we get a container there. We get containers them now other places them. But make sure say everybody was supposed for register first of all for pay tax and register, and then supposed for pay them fair share. So any big company, any small person, everybody's supposed for pay their own tax.
Perception say most of them big company there, especially the mining company, they can get this political protection, and most of them in tax system they can get a duty waiver.
So not a political protection they get, that the agreement, that the bad agreements them would give them. You know, so with the mining companies them, and that's as I mentioned earlier, we don't get a new law, Finance Act. We say we're not for the copy and paste. Now the bad law them we don't they do over time. And a lot of them where they come in 25 years or even more. We get some 100 years. So if you don't make a bad law for 100 years, you get for live with the consequences for 100 years. So we just get for stop for make bad laws then, make sure so we to make the law, would they take the government and revenue into consideration. So the mining companies them, as far as I'm concerned, they don't get any protection from anybody. Now the laws them the bad laws them, the bad contracts them, we then get 9 days they abuse, and we just get for make sure say we stop that.
And when they get the cooperation, we will need, like for example, from Parliament, when they the laws and they come out, because many times when I might get on own reforms the way when I want for let happen, but when you reach a Parliament, it's a different ball game.
So where you ask, Khadija asks, how are they waiting now the measures and what I don't put in place for make sure say we meet, we target, and make sure say we depend on we serve. Every stakeholder need for play their own part. So like you mentioned, Parliament, now they the law they pass. So then therefore make sure say they protect the revenue. We at the Ministry of Finance, we at the NRA and other revenue generating institutions them, we they work for protect the money, but every other stakeholders them get the responsibility for make sure say you protect the money, including Parliament.
Plenty messages that we wait for you. Love we read some of the messages them where people don't send. I go start for it from YouTube. This one is for Musa Kamara. It is say Khadija and Mabel. I spoke with someone yesterday who said they have more than 200 containers at the quay right now, which they are unable to clear for reason best known to the port authorities.
All right, so look at more messages from the Facebook page. Emmanuel Tokade says she's definitely an expert in her explanation, and it says it all. Your legacy at the NRA will forever live on.
This one, they say, when will citizens start to receive tax return as it is done with other countries?
All right, this other one from Alpha Rogers. They say, good morning, Liberty TV. I just want to take a moment to commend our Commissioner General of NRA. She's not only strong but visionary leader and also humble and dedicated servant to the people. The reforms and progress made under her leadership are truly transforming the revenue system and strengthening our country's economy. Sierra Leone is lucky to have such a leader.
Ibrahim Baba today, they say, please, madam, if you say GST is supposed to be the taxes paid by the customers, then why do importers still pay GST at the point of clearing their goods? Please ask her this question. We need clarification, as it seems in Sierra Leone there is a double taxing.
Almami Kabia, they say most electronic systems have backdoors, and it's those who know about the backdoors and how they work are beating the systems at NRA.
This one is a good morning, Liberty TV. I want to tell the NRA commissioners say most of the Indian shops them na Kenema no they give GST receipt to customers, and most of the customers them no know about GST, especially the one them where they come out na village, and the NRA staff them they go collect then share na the shop, then at the end of each day or week.
Sandy Rogers, they say, Madam CG, many Sierra Leoneans hold the view that the syndicates of this magnitude cannot be formed by an individual only. Why is it that only an individual is named in this syndicate and no other person is being even questioned or investigated?
Abu Conte, many businesses and citizens argue that GST has directly contributed to rising prices of essential goods and services. How does the NRA justify this tax when it affects low-income earners?
Emmanuel say, tell the commissioner that she needs to weed out the bad NRA workers who are trying to do the job of clearing agents and reduce the duty.
Mystic Dwazak, they say, good to hear from your studio guest. I must admit that she has been tremendous in the area of reforms, especially on tax education awareness. Many Sierra Leoneans, they didn't know about tax awareness, which is affecting NRA on their revenue mobilization drive.
David McJass said the real challenge about revenue generation is power and connectivity. We need 80% power and 80% digital representation. She is 100% correct.
David, Commissioner General, in light of the persistent economic hardship, public infrastructure, and widespread public concern over unaccounted revenue and institutional impunity, can you publicly disclose without ambiguity the mechanism currently in place to independently audit and publish the full breakdown of revenue collected by NRA, including how much is allocated to essential services like health, education, and water, and what safeguards exist to prevent diversion of these funds into private hands?
Isakabo, they say, is the difficulty mainly due to business underreporting, lack of record keeping, or public resistance to paying GST? And how much potential revenue is Sierra Leone losing annually as a result?
All right, I will take this one for now. Many messages will come to the CG for they respond. Almami Kabia, they say most electronic systems have backdoors, and it's those who know about the backdoors and how they work that are beating your systems at NRA.
Wow. I want to say plenty thank you to the listeners them. I'm really glad and the comments them very thought-provoking. Make us start from, I will try to give a summarized response. The first comment now about containers them stock now what's a key. I am not aware of that. Within me know the app in now what's a key with containers them again for do with transit. So I'm not aware of any containers them we stock Nawataki for how many days we're not clear. Waiting me go tell farm with them. Khadija, when I've been asked earlier, waiting at the measures the mode only put in place for make sure say we control or stop the leakages or diversions that we don't happen in Nawataki. I talk about the daily reconciliation. So waiting we do, we don't send a team down Nawataki, and for at least a temporary measure whilst we work for user system, we do daily reconciliation, whereby an importer or an agent pay for a declaration. We therefore first confirm say the money don't reach na the bank before the process they continue. So I don't know if that they create a backlog, but when I go back in the office, I go double check for just make sure say we no delay, because anytime a container is delayed, it will lead to a demurrage. And we don't work very well and very hard for make sure say we minimize containers staying down there longer than expected. So I go back in our office, I go try to find out exactly what's in the happen. With the reforms and the GST, there's a comment about, I think, a business person or business people in Akenima when they pay GST. That is an indictment on the team in Akenima. I will follow up for just make sure say if it happen, we get for stop them right away, because now leakage is part of the leakages and what they talk about. Somebody asked about the GST. If GST, now me and you, they pay GST, waiting make the importer, they pay GST. The GST where the importer they pay na Wataki is different from the one where they talk about the GST which you get for acts or you receipt. Anytime where an importer brings in a container, they pay import GST. And if that listener they follow we in the beginning, I mentioned about the taxpayer, the importer we pay na Wataki, but in no see that payment where he make na DTD. So the import GST where you pay them, you claim them at the end of the month. Unlike the GST where you pay, where you go buy, where you go to a restaurant, you go buy food. The GST where you pay is different from the GST where they talk about na Wataki. The one where you pay na Wataki, you claim them back at the end of the day or the end of the month where the importer they file. So there are two different GSTs them way they talk about. So there's no double taxation or over taxation. There are two different situations them way they talk about. The bottom line is, I think the callers them talk about, the reforms and what would they do for make the reforms them whole. We get for make sure say we get the right infrastructure, we get the right environment, and then make sure say we get connectivity, we get electricity, which we work on. But just make sure say we get that. There's a caller that talked about make we get a breakdown of within we collect at the end of the year and then how we spent. The Accountant General's office does that. We get the government financial statement where they come out every year. Where the Accountant General they publish it, they show exactly within they come in and how it's allocated, amongst the different ministries and how it's spent. So I think that is published once a year. We're not to NIA in your own domain, and we just they collect and for make sure. But all of that report is out there, done by the different institutions. Them.
Ask about how the picture sound like in terms of losses to government for the GSTs.
Well, the GST will not go able. Really, I'm not going able to sit down here and tell you exactly what's in the losses, but me no say we need to collect more, because in other jurisdictions, them na GST more they collect, and GST na consumption tax. You go eat every day. Some of we they eat every day in a restaurant, or they do other things, them other services, them. But as I say, I get some friends them we get young picking them, we then they care and go na the sky bar like a playground. Every time I tell them, say, when I go, when I make sure, say, when I ask, when I receipt. The business person gets an incentive, what to make and give that receipt today, because they make the money. But for every time they make that money, they loss. So the citizens then get for help the government by making sure that we all do what we need for do.
One other area back where don't become problematic for NIA na the border areas especially for business people we can go. For example, one day they go buy goods na Guinea, some they go buy road for go buy goods them na Togo, and then border area then they na one way NIA monitoring system very lacking. Madam Bangura.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know which experience I don't know what's in the experience you don't get or somebody where we don't get. Balamoya is active, and Balamoya we get systems in there. We get Asikuda na Balamoya, And as long as the goods that they come through the border, we get monitoring system. But within, I think the experience has been, the borders are very porous. I would only hear Usai business people that they bring goods and come. They know they come through the main border, and they get motorbikes them, where they pass through the porous borders. Them the other, they take the bypass route to them. We don't get speak with them where they monitor. Where they work with the police, where they work with the military, where they work with ONS for controlling anything in there. But the borders are very porous. Not only Balamoya, not only Gendema. We get also border crossing between Kailau and Liberia on the other side.
Companies, Mother Bangor, we can bring, for example, one do they bring flour, bring oil from Guinea, where they can intercept them, trucks them at the border. At some point, then they go into agreement with NRA staff them. They see then they pass come inside without paying the right taxes.
I will have to look into that. Again, that's another indictment. I will get for a look into that. I not know of any company where they bring oil, because I know say the companies then will get now they produce enough for export, not so for import. But I will have to look into that. That's another indictment. I will look into that, and then I will report back the next time when I come here.
In your experience, what you go describe say now the most challenging aspects of your work?
Compliance. Yeah. Compliance, improvement and enhancement. Because if we get 80% of the taxpayer, 80% of we compliant, it will make life better for revenue mobilization. It's compliant, making sure that people file on time, pay on time, and pay the right amount. That compliance. So now for that, we work on making sure, say, we improve compliance. We work with other partners them for make sure, say, we put measures in place for improve compliance. Once we improve compliance, it will make me life easier. Besides the fact, say, I get staff them. Somebody mentioned that we get staff them that we need for wheat. That is besides the point. But as long as we get compliance improvement going, it will make me life easier. That is the hardest part of me.
Companies and big businesses then they owe NRA until una go out na the street, close shops them before una get the money then they. Where a lot of people believe say you no need for left your office, go na the streets, lock shops them for government institutions, private businesses before them pay NRA the money. Where means say proper systems not in place na NRA. Waiting are your strategy for solve that. Not to every year you need for see NRA will command or even they go and lock shop them before na get on money then.
So what you describe so not so because proper system no there. What you describe so is clear example of nobody no one pay tax. Myself Bainaya, if not so force that they force me, they cut and come up on my salary. The world all over, nobody no one pay tax. Now for that, they put measures in place. If you not pay, we fine. If you not pay, we lock. If you not pay, we do that. So now for that, I talk about compliance improvement. No tax business, but no one pay tax. But we job now for make sure say them pay tax. And for that, I talk say compliance improvement. And the reason what's in make we they go lock and shop because we know say they know they pay. We know say they're supposed to pay and they know they pay on time. Now for that, we they lock and shop. So we get a system for monitor them. We get a system for make sure say they pay on time. And for that, if they not pay and they not pay on time, we they go lock and shop. But the compliance improvement is the most important. And we don't put measures and systems in place for make sure say we improve on the compliance.
Challenge where you explain say when they get with especially mining companies, although we know say the mining sector not the boom as it used for be something 10 or 15 years ago, but una still supposed for they generate something. If enough forthcoming, una still hopeful say una go hit una target by the end of the year.
Yes. I mean we where would it set we targets? We they set in collaboration with Ministry of Finance, we they set in a way that we know exactly what's in the happen at the economic system, the economic environment. Making sure, say, the mining companies then pay their fair share or any other company pay their fair share is to ensure that we bring in more than we're supposed for. Imagine if they pay what they pay now and we meet the target. If they pay more, it means that we go bring in more. We we want for make them pay more, so we will bring in more. And the possibility there for make them pay more. Not only the mining companies, by the way, any other company where they make money in this country here, supposed to pay them fair share. So like, for example, when the year starts, the companies that they tell we say, now this will they project for make. But if you make more than what you they project, you pay more. Not so just because you say, now this you they project for make and you make them, that's what you pay. But if you make more, because they provide the environment for make you make more. So if you make more, you pay more. So say you've been supposed to pay 10,000, you project. If you make more, you pay 15. That means they bring in 5 more than we projected. So really, the goal is to just always make sure, say, we bring in more. And me, I don't say, and I say them again, we get the potential. And the time is now, because the world don't say, make sure, say, we want to focus on ourselves and bring in more money and focus on domestic revenue mobilization.
Let me talk about some of the bad laws them earlier we say, una they make. Term they come at every year, una they sit out experts in the Ministry of Finance for put together the Finance Act. Usai una they look, usai for increased tax or us tax for reduce and send and go na parliament. Within the relationship with NRA and the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament for ensure say una scrutinize then laws there properly for let the country stop for lost money, especially when it comes to the mining sector.
So the Public Accounts Committee, they look at the law as a committee. The Public Account Committee, they scrutinize the accountant, the Auditor General's report. So, but I think I understand what's in. So when the way the Finance Act, they work, as we sit down with stakeholders, them, the private business people, them, and then everybody, and we look at the law. And again, I think Namibel being talk about that. Once we don't put everything together, we try for influence, or the Ministry of Finance, the Minister of Finance try for influence the lawmakers, them, for impress upon them the importance of making sure that the law where they go, because we are the experts. The Ministry of Finance, they make the policy. Now the expert for say, we need for cut here, we need for put here, we need for close this, we need for close that. So anytime where the law can go in a parliament, the minister, they work and lobby and make sure say the parliamentarians, they really understand what's in their stake. We don't see many a times they go explain their questions asked for, make them understand. But then when it comes to passing the law, they are the lawmakers. But I know say as stakeholders, they also get the responsibility for make sure say we protect the revenue. And I think that has been happening. And I hope say going forward, it will continue for happen where the law, where a contract, an agreement, or a finance act goes to parliament, make sure say what's in the come is to the benefit of the country, is to protect the revenue. But I think the minister has been working with them on that. We just make sure say what's in the go, nine for come for the most part, for make sure say we protect revenue.
All right, so the wrap up now, but let's just take this quick message from Naso for fun. I say, please ask Geneva, how has she coped with her job as a woman at the M of NRA?
Why am I not surprised? Thank you, Madam Nansu, for following me. I love my job. I love my job. And I say this to people all the time. I like what I do. Because I like what I do, I enjoy them. And the way where I cope, where I don't get a stressful day, I go na us, I recalibrate. The space where I walk is not easy. Yeah, it's a very, very challenging, but it's also a very rewarding space. Because for be the head of an institution when you governments they rely on for couple, especially at this time where the world don't say we not support una anymore. For this year alone, we not don't get support from any other partners. Them, the IMF not pay nothing yet. The World Bank hasn't paid. The EU not pay we yet. Nobody not pay we. So everything where would they eat? Now this country right now when it can to couple now waiting with the gaze. So it's a huge responsibility on me and my team, but I get the greatest support from my leadership. And that's don't they keep me going. But to crown it all, because I enjoy what I am doing because it's very rewarding. And the support where they get, the satisfaction where they get, and even where I get this appointment to the UN Tax Committee, that as a result of the effort, the energy, and the passion where they put into everything that they do. So they enjoy them. It's not easy. There's a lot of things happening in the background. But as a leader, you know, you get for weather the storm, and then you get for stand tall. You know, if you're not able, not come at the kitchen. You know, so the heat, yeah, if you're not able, the heat's not come. So me, I able to withstand the heat, but I enjoy what I do. And I get a lot of prayers from a lot of people. A lot of people are thinking every day while I wake and say, you know, would they think of you? Keep it up. You're doing a great job. So they get that motivation from that, but it's not easy.
Many thanks, Madam Bangura. We join with this morning for can talk about the new reforms and events them way on the happen in from time to time. We'll continue for bring you so that you will get a frequent conversation with members of the public, especially taxpayer them.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for giving me this opportunity for me to continue for the talk to me taxpayers, them part of the taxpayer education, and all the comments and we can't they want to able to answer. I not answer fully. When I come back, I will make sure say, you know, I will provide information.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Many thanks. Now the end of the breakfast show. Plenty thank you to all we join. We send on messages. Apologies if we not able to read all on messages, but we will continue for bringing on issues of public interest as na that Liberty TV for Musa Saukoma and Samuel Thomas, and then support the production team for bringing this edition come to you. Mina Khadija Bangura, they say have a good day.
All right, until we meet again, Mabel Kabade say get a good day and goodbye.